Welcome to another vlog from the way we saw it, this time from Gibraltar. But before we talk about Gibraltar, I'm gonna talk a little bit about our travel route we did. So the last vlog you saw was Cadiz, and from Cadiz we traveled further south to Vejer de la Frontera, and we stayed in a beautiful guest house there, a Casa del Torero, which we definitely can recommend. We will put the link in the video description below. And from that beautiful guest house we did a lot of side trips in the area. So we went, for example, to the beautiful beaches very close by. One of the beaches is Caños de la Meca. It's a beautiful beach, also a nudist beach, and there's also a natural waterfall where the water comes down at the beach, so you can go swimming in the beach, come back out of the water and take a fresh water shower. After our stay in Vejer de la Frontera, we went further south to Tarifa. This is our actual location right now, where we will be staying the next few days. And as said before, now we're gonna do an excursion to Gibraltar, where a friend will show us a little bit around. We parked our car on the Spanish side and we are walking now over to the British side, which is no longer part of the European Union, and we have to show our passports. So passport control is right here.
Welcome to a very peculiar place, one of the peculiar places in Europe. This is Gibraltar. So Gibraltar is located in the south area of Spain. You can see behind me the Strait of Gibraltar, which is separating Europe from Morocco, from Africa. And Gibraltar is actually part of the British, and it's part of the United Kingdom. So Gibraltars had to leave Europe when UK left Europe as well, and they have a border with Spain. Very funny here is when you drive in, you have to drive through the airport runway because the area is very small. There's about 30,000 people living here. They speak Llanito, which is their language mix of English and Spanish. Well, most of the people anyway, they speak English here, and they have their own currency, of course, the British pound. So when you come over from the Eurozone, you have to get your British pounds to buy coffee or fish and chips, of course. They eat here in Gibraltar. And as said, only 30,000 people live here. It's very funny to drive through the streets here because you see all the British street signs, the bus stops, the telephone booths, and all things that remind you of London and the UK.
On the rock you see the monkeys. You probably all have heard about the monkeys, and there's a rumor, or there's a saying that one day when the monkeys are gone from the rock, the British people will be gone as well. And during the Second World War, the population of the monkeys were actually quite low, so Winston Churchill got more monkeys on the island that the saying will never become true. And these monkeys are macaque, and they're actually completely wild. They're not domesticated. And even though in the recording you could see some iron bars, this is just a fancy on the side. So I could film them only from that perspective at the moment, but they're completely wild.
Michael's Cave. They believed in the past that this was a connection between Europe and Africa under the Gibraltar Strait. However, that's not really true. This is a stalactite and stalagmite cave with light and sound also, which makes it look really cool. And it's really amazing to see how the stalagmites and stalactites have formed. There's a rock that has been cut where you can see the different layers and levels formed in time with the water dripping from the roof.
St. Michael's Cave, you should drive all the way up the road or walk all the way up. There's an old military point where they had a cannon fixed here on the ground, and when you climb up on the side, it's a secret little viewpoint. You have a beautiful view all over the Mediterranean Sea, the Strait of Gibraltar, and of course also towards Africa.
Here we are at the Grand Siege tunnels. That's the time when the Spanish were surrounding Gibraltar and not letting the British come out during 4 years. And from here you have a great view on Gibraltar. You can see behind me the airport of Gibraltar with the runway and the road that crosses the runway. This is very unique because that's a unique and only road to Gibraltar. And when the planes land or take off, they have to close the road so that pedestrians and cars do not cross the runway. And behind you can see the preparations of a plane takeoff. They've closed the barriers for the road so that the cars don't drive through the runway anymore. And a little tiny yellow cleaning car is cleaning the runway so that people who might have lost something on their way when they walked over the runway, that all that little scrap comes away and doesn't damage the tires of the airplane.
Siege tunnel, which is actually quite impressive. Construction goes all the way down inside of the rocks with many cannons to see and a lot of beautiful windows when they were shooting out. And from these windows we have a beautiful view to the sea, to the airport, to different locations. Now we're heading out.
Behind me you can see on the left the Gibraltar flag, on the middle is the Union Jack, and on the right, I don't know, maybe it was the European Union flag before, but now they replaced it with something else. Blue.
Including in your ticket, this is a ticket, you have also access to many caves and tunnel systems which are actually digged into the rock of Gibraltar. And this one here is very impressive because it's very big and used to be a hospital. There's a whole hospital built into the rock, which of course is not working anymore, but during World War II it was functioning. And from this hospital you also have a beautiful balcony where you can overlook the airport.
This is the Moorish castle. It's probably the remains of this one. That used to be a series of towers and tunnels and walls. And it has been built, destroyed, rebuilt, so there's several layers of castle. And this one is one of the rooms that used to be made in Islamic or Arabic architecture, used as a prayer room, and then became a Christian chapel when the Christians took over. Now we're heading to downtown, to the main street of Gibraltar. That's supposed to be also a tourist attraction. And let's see if we can get some coffee. This is the main street of Gibraltar. You can see Union Jacks everywhere, and the whole setup is like from a British coastal village. So when in Gibraltar, you're not necessarily going for tapas and vino, but more for fish and chips and beer. And so we ordered the local specialty. This is a portion for one. We decided to share it because this is a very big British portion. Bon appetit.
Our day trip to Gibraltar has come to an end, or is coming to an end. Actually, we wanted to make the closing on the Grand Calumet Square, but there's guitar players who's very loud and I can probably not overtalk him. So that's why we're doing it here at the Grand Landmark Tunnel, I think it's called. And this is actually our way home now, here through the tunnel. And on our way home, we have to cross again the runway from the airport, because we parked our car on the Spanish side because it's more easy not to come with the car and find a parking within Gibraltar because it's very crowded. We can definitely recommend to do this day trip to Gibraltar. It's rich in history. You have a lot of things to see. You have stunning views from the rock. So definitely come here and visit Gibraltar. Thank you very much for watching this vlog from the way we saw it, and see you very soon then again in the next vlog from Spain.